Good morning, student. I hope you are going through all my previous 4 video lecture based on Unit 1 Database System Architectures of Database Management subject. Today we will discuss a last 2 points of Unit number 1 Database System Architectures of Database Management System subject. In this unit we will discuss instance and schema different database languages. Before we will discuss instance and schema, we will go through some advantage and disadvantage of DBMS. After advantage and disadvantage, instance and schema we will discuss, and later on we will discuss the different database language. So start with the advantage of DBMS. Whenever we are using any of the technology, there are some advantages and there are some disadvantages always be there. So start with the different advantages. Redundancy can be reduced. What is the redundancy? Redundancy means whenever a data will be stored in our DBMS, lots of information which are duplicated. So a redundancy means a duplications of record, and we need to remove this particular duplicated record with the help of redundancy. Second advantage, it's known as a inconsistency can be avoided. With help of different formations, data type and a particular constraint, we can achieve inconsistency in our DBMS. In a simple word, we can say that inconsistency means irrelevant data. Third advantage, it is known as a data can be shared. Whenever we are using a DBMS, then it is one of the advantage that we can share our information with so many users. So it is one of the advantage that we can store a single time data and we use the multiple times with multiple persons. Fourth advantage, it is known as a standard can be enforced. Means if we want to store our personal information, then we need to follow some of the rules, and if we are follow the some of the rules, so it should be better for us as well as for the DBA. They can retrieve our information as much as a faster response. Fifth advantage, it is known as a security can be enforced, because whenever we are storing our personal information, we require as a security prior thing on for particular data. And the last advantage of DBMS, its integrity can be maintained. Integrity means whenever we are performing some of the operations like insertion, deletion, updation, all the operation will be performed with help of integrity, so a data will be retrieved as per our requirement. So there are lots of advantages available of DBMS, but I'll just list out some basic and fundamental advantages of DBMS. Now we see a disadvantage of DBMS. First thing, confidentiality, privacy and security. So if you see a first disadvantage of DBMS is confidentiality, privacy and security. So you can have one question that if a DBMS never compromise his or her security, so why it is a disadvantage? So whenever we are storing information on a single database, if someone unauthorized accessing our data, or we can say database, so they can access all the confidential informations. If an unauthorized person can access with help of any of the techniques or hack our database system, so they can easily access complete information of all the users. So it is one of the disadvantage, because all user can store his or her personal information within a single database system. So it is an advantage as well as a disadvantage. Second thing, it is an enterprise vulnerability. What is a vulnerability? Vulnerability means it is one of the mistakes. We can say that if user done some mistake, then also some unauthorized user can access the information. If some technical bugs will be found in a particular database, then also some unauthorized person can access a data. So enterprise vulnerability, it is one of the disadvantage of DBMS. The third disadvantage, it is known as the cost of using DBMS, because recovery of data and backup of data, it is one of the key functions of DBMS. So we can store information on a different location, or we can say different storage capacity. So we require a more number amount of data storage, so the costing of data storage is most higher compared with the traditional file system. Few graphical or statistical capabilities. Now the word this disadvantage is removed because a DBMS provides lots of graphical information as well as a statistical information. But in previous concept, there are no more than graphical representation of a DBMS is available. That's why it is mentioned in a disadvantages. Fifth one, require expertise and resource to administer. Means if we store our information in a database, we recruit one of the person, they are a fully expertise to manage a particular data. It's known as a DBA. So if we want to recruit some of the person, we need to provide a salary. So therefore we require some expertise person. No one can manage a data as well as no one can manage to perform some request and response concurrently. That's why we require some expertise person. And the last disadvantage, it is database damage. Means if somehow any kind of technical, non-technical or affected through the viruses, it's happen on a database, then data may be lost. So it is one of the disadvantage of DBMS. Now we see what is instance and schema. It is two important definition of unit number 1. So please focus on instance and schema. If you know the fundamental things of instance and schema, then you are easy to understand how the database will be work and how the different operation will be performed from the end user with help of DBMS. First we start with the instance. The collections of informations stored in a database at a particular moment, it is called as an instance. So we just take one example. When we are creating an account in a Gmail or Facebook, at that time we are performing the sign up operations. Means we provide some basic informations to the Facebook server or Gmail server. So these particular moments, it's known as a instance. Second, known as a schema, the overall design of database is called the database schema. We can say a logical structures where the actual data will be stored. It is known as a schema. Like we say this, structures of table, structures of database. In a structures of table, there are the column names, data type of particular column and size of particular column. So it is the overall logical design of database. Start with the difference between instance and schema, so we can easily understand how an actual difference between instance and schema. Instance means the collections of information stored in a database at a particular moment. It is called an instance, and the overall design of database, it is called as a database schema. Instances are frequently changed because the moment of a particular data, it will be always be a change with the reference of different users. So instance may be changed with the particular users, but the schema are changed rarely. Like we can take an example. Currently we take a password from the user of minimum 8 character. As per the security concern, if someone hack our system and we need to update our database table column of password to 8 digit to 10 digit, so it is changed but rarely changed in a particular time. So it is known as a schema. Now we see with the example. The below example mention what are the difference between instance and schema. You can easily found that employee name character 10. Employee name is the column name, character is the data type, and 10 is the size of particular name, or we can say column name. Salary is the column name, integer is a data type. All the logical structure, it is known as a schema, and the particular records Professor Rajesha and Professor Om Patel, it is known as an instance, and it is frequently changed as per the user requirement or as per the user information. Now the second and the last point which we are studying in unit number 1, it is a different database languages. There are lots of languages. With help of different languages, we are performing all the operations which are mentioned in the diagram and performing a data management system. There are the 4 different, or we can say basic different part of database language. It is known as data definition language, data manipulation language, data control language, and transaction control language. In a particular language, there are the different operations will be performed on a some priority level. Like in a DDL, create, alter, drop, rename, comment, and truncate operation perform. In a DML, select, insert, update, delete, merge, call, explain plain, locate table. It is the part of DML. DCL, committed, rollback, save point, and transaction, all the information are performed on a DCL. And the last thing, it is a transaction control language or TCL. The 2 important and a security level concept will be performed grant and revoke on a transaction control language. All the operation we are performed practically on our lab session, as well we are study in our unit number 8 with a example as well as the basic syntax. Now we are start with the data definition language. DDL statement are used to define the database structures or schema. Means a DDL, those kind of command are used to change some database structures or a schema of the particular structures. Now I hope you are clear that what is schema. Means if you perform create, alter, drop, truncate or comment command, each is performed on directly with the database structures. It is known as a DDL. Now what is DML? It is a data manipulation language statement are used for managing a data within a schema object. Means we can say that those below operation like select, update, insert, delete and query command perform directly on the instance of a particular schema. Means if we perform some below operations, then they are directly affected, which are based on users informations. Third thing, it is a data control language mostly concerned with the rights permissions and other control of database system. So both the below operation grant and revoke, it is performed by the DBA to provides rights to the another users and to getting a rights from the another users. Means at a particular time, DBA provides some rights to the particular user to access his or her personal information. After getting complete work, they can revoke the particular rights from the users. So both the command will be very useful for the security purpose. And the last thing, it is known as a transaction control language. Transaction within a database. We see our lecture number 3 where what is transaction? Transaction means perform some request and response in between a 3 different level: view level, conceptual level and physical level. So whenever we perform any kind of transaction, or we can say maintain a sum of the transaction, at that time we are performing commit, rollback, save point and set transaction of TCL command. What is commit? Commit means save a particular task within a particular time periods. What is rollback? Rollback, it is the important command where if a transaction will be failed, then we can revoke or we can say recover our data up to the last updated record. So it is also work as a backup data. Save point, at a particular time we save a particular transaction, at that time we are using the save point. And what is set transaction? Complete process which we will mention in a request and response form. If we want to store a particular complete cycle of request and response, it is a set transaction. So it is also a useful thing for the application program point of view. It is one of the uses which we'll see in our previous lecture. Now the important thing and the last slide, last point of unit number 1, it is known as a storage manager. How the actual data will be stored on a disk storage, how different user can access a particular data, and what are the core operations which are performed in a operating system, or we can say in our computer system through the DBMS, which is completely described in a storage manager. So storage manager is a program module that provide the interface between the lower level data, or we can say physical storage, in a database and the application programs and queries submitted to the system. So in a simple word, we can say that a storage manager, it is an intermediator between a view level to the lower level physical level. The various components of storage manager are authorization and integrity manager. In this, authorization and integrity manager perform verify a particular rights and permissions of users. Transaction manager, they can perform a different kind of transaction which will have to have different permission and perform some of the operation on a particular database. So complete transaction request and response, it should be managed in a transaction manager. File manager or buffer manager, both the things should be work for the particular data where the actual data will be stored and where the secondary data will be stored. Next, a storage manager. Storage manager maintain indices, or we can say index, so the end user request will be performed faster with help of a storage manager. Next, a data file, where a actual file system work, how the file will represent from the view level, what are the different file types, and all the different functionality is performed on a data files. Next, a data dictionary. Data dictionary maintain the metadata where each and every data will be stored with help of data, or we can say data dictionary. And the last, indices, it is used with help of faster access. It is nothing but one kind of index where we are not completely check all the record, we can directly retrieve a user request with help of indices, like a book index. So we'll see all the storage manager working criteria with a specific and graphical design. I hope you are like it. Start with the database system architecture. With upper level, or we can say view level, there are the different users like naive users, it is a unsophisticated users, application programmer, sophisticated users, and database administrator. At a particular level, those all the four are users, but they have some each and every particular responsible or a responsibility to maintain a database. So start with the users. It is a naive user, it is a simple user, they can access our data with use of application interface. Second, application programmer, it is a developer, they can perform a write operation with help of application program like a front-end languages and access a database. Sophisticated user use the particular database with help of query tools. They no need to perform any kind of front-end languages to access the particular data. And a key component, it is known as a data administrator. It is one of the use of data with help of administrator tool. So all the four user access a particular single data with help of different tool to access a database. Now how they can access, or what are the different operation will be performed? A second level, it is known as a query processor. In a query processor, there are different operation will be performed, like we can say that deal with the executions of DDL and DML statement. Means in a query processor, they are performing two different operations, DDL and DML. What is DDL? We will study in our previous slide. It is the data definition language, and DML, it is a data manipulation language. Means in a DDL, we are performing directly with the logical schema, and a DML, the query or operation directly performed on a base of instance. Now see, application interface, or we can say naive user, with help of application interface, application program or code, it is performed to access a database. For the application program start with the compiler and linker to access with the database. Sophisticated user use the query tool and maintain a DML query to access a database. After performing a query tools, they provide application programmer to check whether it's work or not, and if it is performed by the application programmer, then they perform with the naive user, or we can say end user. So user can directly access with help of a particular application to access a different data. And the last, a database administrator use the database with help of an administration tool and perform the DDL interpreter. Because database administrator, it is the user, they can design a logical schema of a database. So they are performing a DDL interpreter, because in a DDL command we see that it is one of the statement they can directly interact with the logical structures of database. So interpreter DDL statement into a sets of table containing a metadata. Next, a DML queries, DML compiler and organizer maintain all the DML queries. Means a translated DML statement into the lower level instructions that the query evaluation engine understand. Means what are the functionality performed in DML compiler, what are the requests performed by the end user, they are converting a particular request into the lower level instruction which are understood by the evaluation engine. Then query evaluation engine perform some of the requests which are transmitted by the DML compiler and provide the result to the naive user. It is one of the intermediator between the application programmer as well as sophisticated user, or we can say end user to a sophisticated user. Executions a lower level instruction generated by the DML compiler. So it is one of the functionality which are performed in a query evaluation engine. Now a next section where the actual data will be storage, or it is one of the point there the actual core data structures or database structure will be available. It is known as a storage manager. Provide an interface between the lower level data store and an application program, or we can say a query. Start with the transaction manager, because what are the transaction will be performed in a query evaluation engine, it is managed by the transaction manager. Preserve the atomicity and control concurrency. What are the different transactions performed on a single database within a different user at a particular time. Complete transaction managed by the transaction manager. Second thing, authorization and integrity manager. Wherever a naive user requests a particular data, first they verify it is a valid user or not for the particular request. So the validations of a particular request, it should be happen in authorization and integrity manager. They can validate a particular request with a particular users. Check the authority of users to access data and integrity constraint. Next, it is a file manager where actual file will be maintained with a file manager. Means a particular location, extensions of file, size of file, how the file will be stored at a particular location, everything should be part of file manager. Manage allocations of space on a disk storage. Means a file manager also handle that there are the different space available in different location. They manage a different spaces between end users. Next thing, it is a buffer manager. Fetch the data from disk storage to memory for being used. Means just a simple word, buffer manager manage a secondary storage to the primary storage. If a naive users, or we can say end user, request some of the data, a data will be stored on a secondary storage. Buffer manager manage to retrieve a data from the secondary storage and to represent on a primary storage. So it is the working of buffer manager. Next, the actual, where we can say a secondary storage, this storage will be available. So in a data dictionary, In a disk storage, there are the different things which are available known as a data dictionary to store a metadata. Second thing, it is indices because we want to perform a faster access. That's why the index will be there for accessing particular data dictionary in indices to provide the faster access of data item. So the indices is a most important key point to perform a faster response to generated query which on a naive user. We just take an example. If we want to found 10 units in our book and if we want to go to the unit number 7 directly, so we are using the index. So we perform a faster access of unit number 7 with help of index. We can directly go to the particular page number. Same thing it should be happen in a database management system. If you want to locate so many data, but if you found a faster access of a particular data, the indices will help to find out the faster response to perform a user request. Next, after completions of buffer manager and file manager, those both the operation will be based on a data because buffer manager manage a secondary storage to the primary storage and a file manager manage the different location, but both the things should be happen on a data because the data will be stored on a secondary storage. So it is your complete database system architectures which are performed practically on our computer system on our real life where a data management system will be implemented. I think you are clear. And last thing, it is a statistical data which is maintained to store a statistical information about the data. Like we can say that how many time a particular data will be used, how many different user can access a single particular records, and how many users access a frequent data item of a particular database. So it is maintained by the statistical data. So with help of all the three things like a view level, query processor and storage manager, maintain a disk storage in a database management system. The last slide, I will mention some of the questions which are repeatedly asked in a GTU exam from the unit number 1. It is a question which are repeatedly asked in a GTU exam like a list and explain the advantage of DBMS, draw and explain 3-layer architectures of DBMS, list and explain category of database users, list and explain different tasks of DBA, or we can say role of DBA, and explain DBMS architecture with the block diagram which are previously seen with the diagram. So those are the frequently asked questions from the unit 1. I hope you are enjoying these videos. I will try my best to explain all the stuffs, all the basic detail about each and every unit, and my try is to explain all the things with help of diagram. Thank you very much. Goodbye.